Hey guys, and as the title of the episode states, welcome to a kind of somber end to 2016. Of course, as always, I am that mask guy.
And I am Captain Fizz, and we completely bypassed our music this
And,
time.
but you know what? We'll go to it in a moment. This is it's days like this where you kind of feel like you get kicked in, the go nets, and we of course we lost our the original warrior princess Carrie Fisher today, and I'm actually think I'm gonna cry.
I was holding it until this point. I was actually doing pretty good, but the moment we go on air and start talking, it's a little.
It is so. As I kind of said on Twitter earlier today, we lost a princess, a general, a warrior, a role model, a hero, an icon, Carrie Fisher. So this episode is dedicated to you, and please hit the music.
Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. As we already said, I am Captain Fizz.
And I'm just gonna bypass my normal thing. And I am that mask guy.
This is by far one of the hardest shows we've had to do. Thankfully, this is actually our last show in this year. So there's some breaks that we got a little bit of time off before we start the new year. This has been a tough year.
It has been, and I just want to. I'm not going to go off and quote him, but there is a gentleman who works in the professional wrestling industry. He used to work for Chikara under the name Gavin Loudspeaker. He's known elsewhere as Loud and Noxious. And he went off and Michael Bolton, as many, or not Michael Bolton, I think I'm not even going to make a joke about that. But George Michaels, on Christmas Day, no less, passed away. And upon hearing about it, Gavin, or Loudon, or whatever you want to call him, went on Facebook. And he went up and kind of said that we, not necessarily us, in particular the people on social media, have got to be kind of taken responsible a little bit for so many deaths, because we even with 9 months left in the year, we were talking about how terrible the year 2016 was. In fact, it's been all over social media, it's been all over the news, that this is kind of like a global trend as far as 2016 in regards as to be like a really, really terrible year. And I mentioned it in the past. I grew up in a Christian home, and one of the things that we are taught is that as a man speaketh with his, if you speak it with your mouth, if you put it into words, you're confessing it to become truth. And so that's kind of what has happened. We had so many people have went off and talked about how crappy of a year this is, and I'm not just talking about the number of deaths with celebrities. I mean, let's face it. As much as we've lost so many people that we loved, who have entertained us so much, I mean, they make up just a fraction of the number of people who die every year. But I mean, it really does feel like this year has just been really bad, and I think that we, as a society, need to take some responsibility for that, because it's the term is lost on me. I can't think of it, but pretty much we have spoken this into existence. We have believed it was, the 2016 was a crappy year, or was going to be a crappy year, that it became a self-fulfilling fulfilling prophecy, if you will. And so that's kind of how I feel. I mean, but I mean, again, I mean, this doesn't take away from how somber I am. And normally, I mean, even when we lose someone that we feel that has entertained us so much, I try to go off. I try to come across as as a bit of a jokester. Try to bring some energy to the show, and I just
usually I do too, but you're a little older than me, so you grew up with the whole Star Wars longer than I have. My first TV celebrity crush was actually Carrie Fisher, and I don't care how weird that sounds, whatever, but I couldn't wait to watch the movie. I couldn't wait to read something else about her and all this stuff. I idolized such an important person growing up because they were this important figure, and not just for they weren't. Just wasn't every guy's crush or favorite person to watch, other than Xena, of course. She was this greatest role model for women and everywhere. She was in such a prominent role in Star Wars where she wasn't just a follower or behind people. She was actually a general. She was in charge. So that in itself showed how that anyone could be that powerful, so to speak, even if it's just a movie role. She pretty much embodied that outside of the movie as well, with standing up for mental illness and all this other stuff. So she was great in so many ways. I only wish I was actually able to meet her.
That was one of my dreams. I actually I've stated on. I think I've stated on a previous episode. I have a picture, and it's Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams, and Mark Hamill all sitting around someone dressed up as Chewbacca. I can't guarantee. I don't know for sure if it's Peter Mayhew or if it was someone else. But my hope and dream had been to been able to get all four of them or all five of them to go off into sign that picture. I was able to get Peter Mayhew to sign it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get Billy D. Williams, and part of me doubts that I'll ever get another chance. And my heart's kind of broken because I never got a chance to meet Carrie Fisher and never got to sign it. And part of me feels really selfish because I remember one of the first things I thought when I heard that she passed away was, what does this mean for the Star Wars franchise? And I immediately went off and gave myself a mental kick out of the nuts for even going off and thinking that. But it's one of those things where the sorrow has kind of grown, throughout the day for me. So,
they confirmed today that she'd actually already finished filming all her parts for the next Star Wars movie. Now, what worries me, and this isn't just for the whole Star Wars franchise. What worries me is how much of it do they have to go back and change, and how much and how much effect is that one little showing in a movie going to do for people for this movie. We've all gone through this where people pass away during a movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman with the Hunger Games being one of them. And
and
Paul Walker with Fast and Furious being another, where his brother actually stepped in. How much of what we're going to see in this next movie for and even the movie afterwards for Princess Leia is going to be CGI now, and how much are they just going to cut her out, so to speak?
It's, I mean, from the writer side of my brain, this is an absolute tragedy because it really feels like Leia should have been around for the end of the movie, but the fan in me, doesn't want to see them go off and to do this. I don't want to see someone playing Princess Leia for an entire movie. And
who isn't Carrie Fisher?
Carrie Fisher. I realize. Hopefully, in a little bit, we're going to go off and we're going to talk a little bit about some of our favorite movies and some of our least favorite movies. And I think spoiler alert. I think for both of us on the top of the list is going to be Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, which they do feature a CGI image of Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. at the near the very end of the movie. But you know,
I think before we get into that, we'll get the hard part out of the way.
yeah,
Which is,
I mean, let's do that.
I went through a list of all the ones who passed away this year, and God forbid it was a really, really long list. I kind of picked and chose who I added to mine. Obviously, we started the year off with two really shockers, David Bowie and Alan Rickman. Really complete shocks. Harper Lee, who was the author of To Kill a Mockingbird. You got George Kennedy, George Martin, Frank Sinatra Jr., Patty Duke, Merle Haggard, China, which also kind of hit us a little hard.
Yeah, Joni, that was a tough one.
We lost Prince, Guy Hamilton, which was the director of Bond, John Barry, Beastie Boys, Nick Menza from Megadeth. Yes, I'm including music in there because we've obviously lost a lot of them. But Kook from Pink Panther, Muhammad Ali, Scotty Moore, which was actually Elvis's guitarist, Anton Yelchin from the Star Trek. He was the Star Trek Chekhov.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder. So we obviously we lost the kids side of us a lot this year. Leonard Cohen. I need to say no more on that one.
Yeah.
Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch.
That one. I don't know. I don't know why that one kind of
hard. Peter Vaughn from Game of Thrones. John Glenn, which was the first man to orbit Earth. So he is a celebrity in his own way. A.A. Gill, who was a very well-known critic. Zsa Zsa Gabor, who, me personally, I've never actually knew who she was, but...
first off, it's Zsa Zsa.
Sorry, Zsa Zsa. George Michael, Liz Smith, Ron Glass, who was best known to us geeks as the Shepherd from Firefly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've lost Carrie Fisher and Kenny Baker. So we've lost both Princess Leia and R2-D2 in the same year, as well as Spock. And yeah, it's a tough year to be a fan of anything. So I think what we'll do before we move into hopefully the happier part of our show, and unfortunately this will be a very somber show. I think we've lost our mojo for the day. So we will play.
Been one of those harder ones, yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna play some music, and we'll come back with we'll talk about the top movies of the year and what we enjoyed, and maybe what we're looking forward to seeing more of next year. So enjoy our music, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Mask Guy show. So yeah, we're going to take away from the kind of, really bad part of our show. And we're going to move into what we think was some of the best movies of the year. I'm going to pretty much start with my list. I'm not sure if you've actually, if you had a chance to do.
I haven't really given it an extensive list. I haven't written anything down. This has kind of been a weird couple days for me. I haven't had it. I've actually been stuck at my parents' place for the last couple days. For those people who aren't aware, we had a nifty little blizzard here in Winnipeg.
I nifty doesn't explain it. I walked through a field by the railroad tracks, and I was literally up to my hips in snow. Yeah, no, and I'm 6'1", so for it to hit my hips, that's a little bit more of than nifty.